Director Patel, I watched some of your Senate hearing yesterday when Senator Kennedy asked you, you've seen most of the files, who, if anyone, did Epstein traffic these women to besides himself? You replied, according to the transcript, there is no credible information that he trafficked them to anyone else. You also
47 seconds ago, inside a sealed federal oversight hearing, a classified registry surfaced that could collapse careers before sunset. No announcement. No warning. Just a thin folder sliding across the witness table. Paper against polished wood. Soft sound. Permanent consequence. Because once a document enters the official record, it never leaves history. The clerk froze mid-stamp. A camera operator instinctively zoomed tighter. 3 attorneys along the back wall stopped whispering at the exact same moment. They had seen the seal. Internal clearance mark. Restricted Archive Division. Distribution code blacklisted from public release. Which meant one thing. Whoever leaked it had already crossed a line that could not be uncrossed. At the center of it all sat Senator Adrian Voss. Still. Straight-backed. Hands folded. He didn't look like a man about to detonate a hearing. He looked like a man who already had. Across from him, the witness adjusted his microphone. Confident posture. Neutral expression. Prepared testimony binder open to tabbed sections. The posture of someone who believed the day would proceed exactly as planned. That belief lasted 9 seconds. Before we continue, Voss said quietly, I'd like to verify a procedural detail. His voice wasn't loud. Didn't need to be. The room leaned toward him anyway. Yes, Senator, the witness replied smoothly. Too smoothly. Voss opened the folder. Slow. Measured. The sound of paper shifting suddenly louder than the air vents. He flipped one page. Then another. Stopped. Eyes scanning. Not searching. Confirming. But that wasn't the moment that changed everything. Not yet. Because evidence alone isn't dangerous. Recognition is. Are you familiar, Voss asked, with Registry File K-41? The witness blinked. Once. Twice. A micropause. I would need context. Polished answer. Practiced answer. Safe answer. Voss nodded. Expected. He turned the top sheet outward just enough for the witness to see the header. The witness's pupils tightened. Just slightly. But cameras catch what confidence tries to hide. This format, Voss continued calmly, belongs to your department. Correct? Silence. The attorney beside the witness leaned forward. Eyes narrowing. He knew that template. Everyone who worked inside federal compliance knew that template. Because it was never supposed to appear outside internal vault servers. Yes, the witness said carefully. It appears consistent. First fracture. Small. But structural. Pen stopped moving across legal pads. A producer behind the press row mouthed something silently to her colleague. The chairman shifted in his chair. He hadn't planned for this. Voss turned another page. Thank you for confirming. No reaction. No smile. Just precision. Earlier today, he continued, you testified under oath that no consolidated index related to this investigation exists. Yes, Senator. Calm again. Controlled again. Voss slid a page across the table. Not forcefully. Not dramatically. Just, forward. It stopped inches from the witness's hand. Face down. The witness didn't flip it. That hesitation changed the oxygen level in the room. What happened next stunned the chamber. Because the witness didn't reach for it. His attorney did. Fast. Instinctively. Like someone grabbing a glass before it falls. He turned it over. Read. And went still. Color drained. Not fast. Gradual. The way realization spreads through someone who suddenly understands they've stepped into a trap designed hours earlier. Is that your authorization code? Voss asked softly. The attorney swallowed. Looked at the witness. Looked back at the document. Yes. Second fracture. Louder. The chairman leaned forward now. Not interrupting. Watching. Because the trajectory had changed. Voss tapped the page once. Timestamp? The witness's voice came out lower this time. March 3rd. And your sworn statement denying its existence was dated? Silence. Voss answered his own question. March 11th. A reporter's pen slipped from her fingers. The sound hit the floor like punctuation. The witness shifted in his chair. First movement he'd made since the document turned over. But that still wasn't the moment the room understood. Not yet. Because contradiction isn't collapse. Proof is. Voss opened the folder again. Removed a second sheet. Thicker stock. Red margin strip. Internal routing tag. This page, he said quietly, is the distribution log. The attorney's jaw tightened. He knew. Before the words came. He knew. It lists every recipient copy. Silence deepened. Someone in the press row stopped breathing loudly enough to be heard. Voss glanced down. Then up. Please confirm the total number of distributed copies. The witness's lips parted. Closed. Opened again. 17. A murmur rippled across the room. Not loud. But collective. 17 copies meant 17 people knew the document existed. Which meant 17 opportunities for truth to surface. Which meant one critical question. Why had it been denied? Voss didn't ask that question. Not yet. Because experienced interrogators don't rush the fall. They pace it. Instead he said calmly, I'd like you to read line 9. The witness didn't move. Didn't blink. Didn't breathe deeply enough for his chest to rise. Line 9, Voss repeated. Slowly. The witness lowered his gaze. Eyes scanning. Stopping. Freezing. His fingers tightened against the table edge. Knuckles whitening. What happened next shifted the balance of power in the room. Because Voss didn't raise his voice. Didn't lean forward. Didn't press. He softened. Take your time, he said. The witness swallowed. It lists an executive authorization. Name? Silence. Name, Voss repeated. The witness spoke it. Barely audible. But microphones don't miss whispers. Across the chamber, two staffers exchanged looks that said the same thing. That name wasn't supposed to be there. Voss nodded once. Almost sympathetic. Then he asked the question that ended the defense. Was that name included when you testified this morning? The witness stared at the page. Still. Color fading. No. The word landed like a dropped gavel. Third fracture. Terminal. Because now the record showed 3 facts. The document existed. The witness signed it. The witness denied it. Logic doesn't shout. It closes. Voss folded his hands. Calm. Centered. Unavoidable. For clarity, he said, was your testimony accurate? The witness didn't answer. Seconds stretched. 4. 5. 6. Every camera zoomed tighter. Every reporter leaned forward. Even the chairman stopped writing. My statement, the witness said slowly, was incomplete. There it was. Not collapse. Not confession. But the structure had shifted permanently. Because sworn testimony only bends one direction. Toward consequence. Voss closed the folder. Soft click. That should have ended it. Should have released the pressure. Should have allowed the hearing to breathe again. It didn't. Because he hadn't delivered the final piece. One last clarification, Voss said. The witness didn't look up. Didn't move. Didn't speak. Voss slid a narrow slip of paper from inside the folder. Thinner than the others. Older. Stamped. This, he said, is the access audit. The attorney's posture snapped upright. Alarmed. It shows, Voss continued, every individual who opened the file. The chamber went silent enough to hear fabric shift. Voss read one entry. Quietly. A staffer's breath caught. He read another. Someone in the press row whispered, "Oh," then covered their mouth. He read a third. The witness closed his eyes. Just briefly. But cameras saw. Voss lowered the slip. Folded it once. I won't read the remaining 14. Silence. For now. That was the bomb. Not the names. The restraint. Because restraint means leverage. And leverage means time. Voss returned the slip to the folder. Closed it. Flat. Final. No further questions. The chairman didn't speak. Didn't move. Didn't blink. Because everyone in the room understood something simultaneously. This hearing had just stopped being oversight. And started being evidence. Finally. Gavel. The committee will recess. Chairs didn't scrape. People didn't stand. Not immediately. They stayed frozen. Processing. Calculating. Realizing. Outside the chamber, the world continued normally. Cars moved. Phones rang. Coffee cooled. Inside, 17 names now existed in public record. A sworn statement had cracked. And a document marked restricted had just been read aloud on camera. By nightfall, calls would be made. Attorneys would draft statements. Offices would review signatures. Networks would request certified transcripts. And somewhere, someone whose name appeared on line 9 would learn that silence had expired. History doesn't always explode. Sometimes, it unfolds, page by page, until the truth has nowhere left to hide.